June 1, 2025, Kyiv, Ukraine. In a breathtaking escalation of the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, Ukraine launched one of its most audacious military operations to date on Sunday morning, striking deep into Russian territory with a barrage of drones that obliterated over 40 aircraft and potentially damaged nuclear submarines. Dubbed Operation Web by the Ukrainian Security Service, SBU, the assault targeted air bases in Irkutsk, Murmansk, and Saratov Oblasts, regions thousands of kilometers from Ukraine's borders, and a naval facility in Murmansk, marking a significant expansion of Kyiv's reach. The operation, executed with drones launched from inconspicuous parked trucks, has stunned military analysts, showcased Ukraine's evolving technological prowess, and ignited a firestorm of reaction. As reports flood in, Russian President Vladimir Putin is said to be convening an urgent meeting in the Kremlin to discuss a retaliatory strike, with the experimental Oreshnik hypersonic missile reportedly on the table, raising the specter of a dangerous escalation. The operation began in the pre-dawn hours of June 1, with the first hints of the assault emerging on X as users posted grainy videos of explosions lighting up remote Russian airfields. The SBU, in a statement shared by Hromadsk and amplified across social media, claimed responsibility, asserting that the mission aimed to dismantle Russia's long-range bombing infrastructure, which has relentlessly targeted Ukrainian civilian areas. The scale of the attack was unprecedented. Over 40 aircraft were destroyed or severely damaged, according to preliminary estimates from Ukrainian sources on X. The targets included a mix of strategic bombers and early warning systems, with specific losses reported at the BelayaAirBase in Irkutsk, the OlenyaAirBase in Murmansk, and the EngelsStrike in Saratov. Eyewitness accounts from local residents, shared via X, described the night sky turning orange as drones, estimated at over 100, rained down on these critical installations. The BelayaAirBase, located approximately 4,000 kilometers east of Ukraine in Irkutsk Oblast, was a primary target due to its role as a staging ground for Russia's strategic aviation fleet. This base houses a squadron of two 95ms and two 160 bombers, both capable of carrying nuclear-armed Kh-101 and Kh-55 cruise missiles with ranges exceeding 2,500 kilometers. Posts on X, corroborated by satellite imagery analysis from open-source intelligence, OSINT, groups, indicated that at least 7 Tu-95ms bombers were destroyed in a series of coordinated strikes. The Tu-95ms, a 4-engine turboprop with a distinctive glass nose, has been a workhorse of Russia's Air Force since the Cold War, modernized with new avionics and missile systems. Its loss is particularly significant, as Russia produces only a handful annually, with the ISS reporting a fleet of approximately 60 in 2023, many of which are aging or under repair. Additional damage at Belaya included fuel storage tanks and a radar installation, with one ex-user posting a video showing a massive fireball that engulfed an aircraft hangar. The OlenyaAirBase in Murmansk Oblast, a key Arctic military hub, suffered equally devastating blows. This base supports Russia's northern fleet and has been a launch point for two 22M3 bombers, which are equipped with Kh-22 anti-ship missiles and have been used to strike Ukrainian coastal targets. Posts from local observers reported at least 5 Tu-22M3s destroyed, their supersonic frames reduced to smoldering wreckage and footage that circulated widely. The Tu-22M3, capable of speeds up to Mach 1.88, is a critical asset for Russia's naval aviation, and its loss could impair operations in the Black Sea and Arctic regions. Beyond the bombers, the attack targeted two A-50 early warning and control aircraft, which provide real-time battlefield data and coordinate air defenses. The A-50, a modified IL-76 transport plane fitted with a large radar dome, is a rare and expensive asset, with Russia estimated to have fewer than 10 operational units, per size data from 2024. The destruction of these planes at Olenya, confirmed by thermal imaging shared on X, leaves Russia's air command structure vulnerable, as replacements could take years to produce. The EngelsStrike in Saratov, located about 700 kilometers from Ukraine, rounded out the trio of targets. This base has been a frequent victim of Ukrainian drone strikes, with previous attacks in 2023 and 2024 damaging two 95ms and two 160 bombers. Sunday's operation reportedly destroyed an additional 3 Tu-95ms bombers and damaged a Tu-160, Russia's most advanced strategic bomber, known for its variable sweep wings and ability to carry 12 Kh-101 missiles. The Tu-160, nicknamed the White Swan, is a symbol of Russian military might, with only around 17 in service, according to a 2022 report by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI. The cumulative loss of over 40 aircraft, 7-2, 95 ms, 5-2, 22 M3, 2A, 50, 3-2, 95 ms, and 1-2, 160, with others damaged, represents a financial and operational blow estimated at over $2 billion by Ukrainian officials on X. The destruction also included support infrastructure, such as runways and fuel depots, further complicating Russia's ability to redeploy assets quickly. Beyond the airfields, the operation's most provocative claim involves a strike on Russia's naval assets in Murmansk. Unverified posts on X allege that drones hit a naval facility where Kilo-class and Boryai-class nuclear submarines were docked, part of Russia's northern fleet. The Boryai class, equipped with 16 Belaya intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads, is a linchpin of Russia's nuclear triad, alongside land-based missiles and strategic bombers. The Kilo-class, diesel-electric submarines armed with Caliber cruise missiles, support conventional naval operations. Eyewitnesses on X reported explosions near the Gadzievo naval base, a known submarine hub, with one user claiming to see a plume of smoke rising from the water. However, this claim lacks independent confirmation, and the base's advanced air defenses, S-400 systems and Panzer S-1 units, make such a strike highly challenging. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists noted in May 2025 that Russia has been relocating submarines to fortified Arctic bases, suggesting that any damage would require precise intelligence and overwhelming drone numbers. Without photographic evidence or official statements, the naval strike remains speculative, though its potential implications have sent shockwaves through global security circles. The tactical innovation behind the operation lies in Ukraine's use of drones launched from parked trucks. Since the war's outset in 2022, Ukraine has transformed its drone industry, producing long-range systems with ranges up to 2,000 kilometers, as reported by the Atlantic Council in January 2025. The truck-based launch method, detailed by Ukrainian Pravda and echoed on X, involves concealing drones in commercial vehicles parked at gas stations or rest stops, allowing them to evade Russia's radar networks, which are optimized for detecting aircraft or ballistic missiles. This approach builds on Ukraine's earlier success with maritime drones, which sank Russian warships in the Black Sea, as documented by The Guardian in 2023. The operation likely involved a mix of domestically produced drones, such as the UJ-26 Beaver and upgraded S-75 systems, and possibly Western-supplied components, though Ukraine has adapted these to circumvent restrictions on their use inside Russia. The timing of the strike is no coincidence. It follows Russia's largest air assault on Ukraine on May 25, 2025, when over 1,000 drones and missiles killed 15 people and injured dozens, precise data. That attack, targeting Kyiv and other regions, was interpreted as an attempt to force Ukraine into submission ahead of a second round of peace talks scheduled for June 2 in Istanbul, according to Vedomosti. President Volodymyr Zelensky, in a Telegram post, framed the operation as a response. "Our weapons bring the war to Russia, proving that no aggressor can hide from justice." The strike's success, assuming the aircraft losses are confirmed, demonstrates Ukraine's ability to retaliate against Russia's most valuable assets, even as Russian forces make incremental gains in Donetsk. In Moscow, the operation has triggered a crisis. Posts on X report that Putin is convening an urgent meeting in the Kremlin, with military and security chiefs summoned to discuss a response. Russian media outlets, including RBC, suggest that the Kremlin is considering a retaliatory strike using the Oreshnik hypersonic missile, first tested in November 2024 against the Ukrainian industrial complex in Dnipro, as reported by BBC. The Oreshnik, a derivative of the Avangard system, travels at Mach 10 and can evade most missile defenses, with a range estimated at 2,000 kilometers, according to ELPS on November 28, 2024. Putin has described it as a strategic weapon equivalent to nuclear capabilities, and its potential use against Ukrainian decision-making centers in Kyiv has been hinted at by Kremlin spokespersons on X. This escalation aligns with Putin's earlier threats, reported by BBC, to deploy the Oreshnik if Russia's strategic assets were threatened, a threshold that this operation may have crossed. The strategic implications are profound. The loss of over 40 aircraft, including two 95MS, two 22M3, A-50, and two 160 bombers, cripples Russia's long-range strike capacity. The two 95MS and two 22M3 have been instrumental in launching cruise missiles against Ukrainian cities, while the A-50's loss disrupts air coordination and the two 160's damage affects nuclear deterrence. If the submarine claims hold, the operation could impair Russia's Arctic naval operations, a region of growing importance amid NATO's northern expansion. However, the lack of independent verification for the naval strike, combined with Ukraine's history of amplifying successes for morale, warrants caution. Russia's relocation of assets to remote bases, as noted by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists in May 2025, may have concentrated targets, but also increase their protection. Russia's official response has been defensive. The Ministry of Defense claimed to have shot down 132 Ukrainian drones, a figure consistent with past efforts to minimize losses, as reported by Reuters in January 2025. The Kremlin's narrative often attributes damage to debris from downed drones, a claim challenged by OSINT groups. The potential Oreshnik launch, however, signals a shift. With peace talks looming and U.S. President Donald Trump pushing for a ceasefire per PBS News, the operation complicates diplomacy. NATO's silence so far suggests caution, but any Russian retaliation could draw the alliance closer to direct involvement. On X, sentiment leans heavily pro-Ukrainian, with users hailing the strike as a historic turning point. Slava Ukraini, wrote one, sharing live footage. Yet, the operation's cost, hundreds of drones and significant resources, raises questions about Ukraine's sustainability. As the world watches, the risk of escalation looms large, with Putin's next move potentially defining the war's next chapter.